So,
course.
Miss Patty. Miss Patty flirts with
Of
everyone. It's
course.
never appropriate,
No.
but we used to let women get away with sexual harassment with verbal and yeah, we still let them get away with it. I don't know that you can do that anymore. I think equality means you can't throw these words out at people and flirt with them randomly.
Hmm. Oops. Now you
um,
tell me.
and also, they're not going to learn how to dance. You're not going to teach them major dances. You're going to teach them how to look like they can dance, but really they're just swaying slowly or something.
Right. Or you're
But
going to do like a simple box step or something, but you're not going to like cha-cha. You're not going to do like a real, you're just going to do like, here's the 4 things to keep in mind.
right,
Go.
yeah,
You're not going to be like, and then you swing her over and grab her hand and, like, no,
yeah,
nothing fancy. But she's got to learn how to do this in heels.
right.
It's not easy.
Mm-hmm. And then they show us that Lorelai and Chris really truly grew up in this because by the time they ran away from this life, they already knew all the dances, and so they danced together. And there's Lorelai again, falling in love much
Yep.
deeper.
Yep. And
Every
that's
move
when
that
I was
Chris
like,
makes.
he's got a lady. He's definitely got a lady. I wrote, he has a GF, a
I'm
gluten-free.
And of course he knows how to tie Chris knows how to tie ties, and Lorelai talks about how to be a lady, which is not even to get your own egg roll, don't
Yes,
get
you
your own
always need
ideas.
help. And once again, eating Chinese food on screen. Now that I know that's why, because you don't have to show amounts, you can do multiple takes of
Mm,
eating. That's why there's so many Chinese food containers on screen. I think I mentioned it last time they had Chinese food, but I love knowing that little Hollywood secret.
you're right, because yeah, because I always think that it's because that was takeout. It was Chinese food. You didn't really most of the time you're getting pizza or Chinese food. But yeah, it's a lot easier to eat out of buckets that aren't see-through.
Not see-through. I mean,
Right.
even pizza is easy, but then if you can show different amounts and different cuts. If you eat a bite of pizza, you have to, you'll have an
Yeah.
inconsistency, but
Yeah.
not with Chinese food.
Yeah, I noticed in the episode when Rory was eating a hamburger, she took a small little bite, like enough to not make a difference depending on how you hold
Yeah.
it. But then for the rest of the time, she was sort of picking at it with her
Yep,
finger.
yep. Taking little bites because you're gonna have an
Yeah.
inconsistent burger, and you got to eat whatever you eat the same take the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
It's a really hard one, and they had to eat a lot on screen here.
I
So,
know that. I think that's why there's a lot of coffee, actually, or
oh,
maybe that's why they never get food at Luke's. They order, and then something comes up, and they leave Luke's randomly. They never eat because it would be you can't eat eggs on screen. It's going to be inconsistent between
yeah,
shots.
that's inconsistent pretty
Yep,
quickly.
I'm a great film producer.
You are,
I think of these things.
yeah. So, and in despite whatever Carrie thought, everybody showed up
I
for
couldn't believe it, you guys. I
the
absolutely
ball.
couldn't believe it. I was like, I forget who arrives first, but we see Chris there immediately. And I'm like, oh my God, Chris made it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, nope, there's still time for him to bail. He made it to the ball, but he's not going to make it to walking her down. He made it to the ball, but he's going to get some phone call from his girlfriend or his wife. He got secret married and his wife's going to call and he's not going to walk Rory down the staircase. Something's going on. Chris has got to bail on her. No. And then I was like, all right, Dean doesn't show up, or Dean shows up in a t-shirt and she's like, where's your tux? And he's like, I ain't wearing that thing. And then we hate Dean now. No, Dean shows up. He looks great. He's wearing tails. He's wearing a white bow tie. He looks uncomfortable, but adorable.
They
Everybody.
both look like dolls, which I think is the
Yeah.
point. Yeah.